Welcome to my channel. My name is Andy Zhou. In this video, we're going to cover the book, The Practice in Mind. I'll go through a lot of actionable steps at the end, so stay until the end. Before going to the content, let me ask you this question. At what point in a flower's life does it reach perfection? Please think about the answer as you watch the video, because the main points of the book lie in the answer. So what is the practice in mind? It's a mindset that's laser-focused, concerned about the present instead of the future or past, focus on the process instead of on the end goal, and it's intentional. Why is it so important? If you think about it, everything we learn and experience in life, from cooking to raising children, from going through school to climbing the corporate ladder, is all accomplished through a form of practice, something we do over and over again. Borrowing a famous quote, there's no goal in life, life is the goal. If we adopt the practicing mindset, not only are we going to experience life a lot more, but also get better at the skills we choose to practice. The author discussed 4 key ideas related to the practicing mindset: process versus the goal, practice versus learning, habits and practice, and lastly, patience. Number 1, process versus the goal. Waiting to become too focused on the goal and miss out on the joy in the process of achieving it. When I was in school, I was constantly imagining the day that I would graduate, instead of enjoying the process of learning in classrooms and doing social activities on campus. We wrongly think that there's a magical point that we will reach, and then we will be happy. We view the process of getting there as a necessity. The truth is, happiness is in the process. I remember that I took golf lessons a few years back. When I was focused on the process, I was experiencing the joy of getting better. When I was focused on the goal, I was frequently frustrated and impatient with the progress. This doesn't mean that you must lose touch with what you're aiming for. You should use the final goal as the rudder to steer your practicing sessions, but not as an indicator of how you're doing. Number 2, practice versus learning. To the author, there's a difference between practicing and learning. Practicing is more deliberate and intentional. It is a deliberate repetition of a process with the intention of getting better. Think of any drills you do in a sport. They're deliberate and intentional. On the other hand, learning can be passive. If a child grows up with parents that have poor financial habits, the child is likely to be poor as well. What happens is that the child will passively learn the financial habits of the parent without being intentional about it. Number 3, habits and practice. Habits and practice are very related. What we repeatedly practice eventually becomes a habit. If we practice the right habits, we're going to be a lot better at certain skills. So how do we create the right habits? It comes down to the mechanics of habits. One study states that repeating a particular motion 60 times a day over 21 days will form a new habit. The 60 repetitions don't need to be done at once, but can be broken down into sets. As an example, to improve your golf swing, you can swing for 6 sets of 10 over the next 21 days. Replacing undesirable habits work in the same way. Initially, the new way feels very awkward. But in a short period of time, through deliberate practice, the new way feels normal, and moving back to the old way would feel strange. For more extensive discussion on habits, I recommend the book, The Power of Habits. I will leave a link in the description below. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. I put out videos like this, so you can get the gist of a book in minutes. Number 4, patience. The dictionary defines patience as quiet perseverance. There are 2 steps to achieve patience. Step 1. Become aware of your internal dialogue. When we practice a certain skill, we often say things like, "Oh, this is so boring. It's going to take too long for me to get good at it. I'm going to suck forever." What you need to do is to stay present and stop judging yourself. Step 2. Understand there's no such thing as reaching a perfection in anything. The point of perfection is always evolving. Imagine you are on a boat trying to reach horizon. If you think you must reach the horizon to achieve happiness, you are destined to experience eternal frustration. You will spend all day running the boat, and yet by nightfall, you are no closer to the horizon. To help you put it in practice, the author has included 4 actionable steps, what he calls the 4 S's. Step 1 is simplify. When you practice a skill, simplify it by breaking it down into its components. Try to attack the skill as a whole will only overwhelm you. As an example, if you are trying to improve basketball, break it down into components such as dribbling, shooting, and passing. Step 2, small. Like I said before, use your overall goal as the rudder to steer your direction. At the same time, try to set and hit small goals. The success will generate positive feelings to keep you going along the way. Step 3, short. When you find a certain task too overwhelming, you can make them short. If you're learning programming on the side, the goal of programming for 45 minutes a day is manageable. I also did a video on the Pomodoro technique, where you can concentrate for 20 minutes and rest for 5. I will include a link in the description below. Our last step is slow. What the author means by slow is working at a pace that allows you to pay attention to what you're doing. This pace will differ according to your personality and the task in which you're involved. If you're reading a dense technical material, the speed will be a lot slower than reading a novel. In the end, being slow allows you to enjoy the moment. So what is the answer to the question I asked at the beginning of the video? At what point in a flower's life does it reach perfection? It's always perfect. As a seed, when it's placed into the ground, it is the perfect seed as it offers so much potential. When it first sprouts through the ground, it's vibrant and youthful. At blooms, it's perfect as it's full of color and beautiful. And this is the core message from the book. If you learn to enjoy the process of living your life, every moment is perfect. Sure, it takes practice and patience to have this mindset, but once you master it, you'll have a lot more life satisfaction.